I mean, I don't sort of socialise with the rest of the members
Why is that?
because I don't think it's very healthy. Because in my sort of dreamlike world, I sort of see myself as a writer. And the Fall is a very good vehicle, and it's the only vehicle for me to do it.
Yeah, we are the Fall and we are the best. Yeah, we are the Fall and we are the best. Yeah, we are the Fall and we are the best. Yeah, we are the Fall and we are the best.
So we listened to a recording from New Zealand that we particularly liked, so we remastered it from 2 days before this recording, and that was one in Wellington. This is in Auckland, and this one was recorded specifically by the dudes or the guy Chris Knox, I believe, at Flying Nun Records as uh, they came to an agreement with Mark and said, we'd like to record the show off the mixing desk. We think it'll sound good. Why don't you let us do this? And they both agreed and they recorded it, and it does sound great.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Yeah, so yeah, Saturday, August 21st, 1982.
The New Zealand crowd obviously was looking forward to Mark and the gang showing up in New Zealand, and they probably may have even been at the, well, I don't know. I don't assume that. I know that New Zealand is pretty small, especially compared to Australia and America. So I could easily see, a entourage of fans following them around the country to catch a couple shows. And if they did, they saw a totally different set list than the show in Wellington, right? The way it starts, the way it ends, the middle, there's everything is pretty much switched up.
Yeah, it is not the same experience.
And the interesting thing about this album is because it's Flying Nun Records, and I guess kind of early on in the Nun Records, relatively, uh, business starting up, they made this album and then they put, uh, we'll talk about the album cover a little bit later, but Mark Riley's on the album cover. The photo from the newspaper is pasted on there, and we're talking about Fall in a Hole, the live album. But Mark saw this. He didn't see this, in New Zealand or Australia. He saw this back in the UK in a record shop, and he was like, "What the fuck?" He was like, "Why is this being imported?" And so he got pissed off, and there was some sort of I don't know, misunderstanding about what would be the procedure as far as the Fall making money off of this recording. And Mark told the Flying Nun Records, um, you know, administrators or Chris Knox, whoever else was in there. He said, "Stop." He's like, stop exporting these albums." He's like, "Stop immediately. You're not making any more money of it. Cease and desist," basically. So then these records that were already exported became a hot commodity because they're like rare. So people would start snatching them up and try to look for them because they knew they couldn't get them anymore because the fall told them they couldn't export them anymore. So they became a very rare commodity, but then it kind of fucked over Flying Nun Records, who thought that they had this agreement. And so they had just a stockpile of these albums that they couldn't do anything with. They couldn't sell them, they couldn't distribute them. And it became they lost a shitload of money, or they thought they were going to lose a lot of money, and it turns out they eventually were able to make some cash off these records. Do you assume how?
I had not heard that story. They just sold them anyways.
Yeah, you got to sell them black market.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You got
gotta
to
dump
sell them
'em.
black. Well, you got to dump them. You got to dump them black market style. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty fun. Obviously, it's a great recording. It's recorded right off the desk. I guess it was recorded to a 4-track, and it sounds really cool. So, and it's a great set list. Uh, Once we get into it, we can start getting nitpicky about why it's different. The differences between this one and the Wellington one, which I love personally, is make it vastly different, even though it was only 2 days apart, which is the great part, which is the great characteristic of the fall, is that 2 days later, it's totally different,
Yeah, and these cities couldn't be more far apart.
No,
No,
my New Zealand geography is not sharp.
It is 651 kilometers away, an 8-hour and 36-minute drive.
I don't know, but in
today.
American terms, that's, you could do that.
You'd go if this your
After
last
the
chance.
show
This
ends,
is your
you got
last.
the
This
day
is your
off.
last chance to see the fall. They're not.
You don't know
coming
when they're
back.
coming back. Yeah, you don't know when they're coming back. It also, if you get your mind blown, like I did in Wellington, I'm going to say, guys,
Yeah, I mean, and you can
get it
see
in the car.
you're catching a second. They played on Friday as well at the same place, so
If we can make it there in time, I'm catching that one too.
you're just following the little van they got.
Yeah, I mean, I'll drive them myself. Make sure the gear is all packed up there, cables rolled up perfectly.
And then who knows?
Mark,
After you do that, there's a 50-50 shot you might get it to be in the van.
I know. I might be playing keys. I might be playing keyboards. Okay. Well, I think that's good. I think we should just go. We got our ticket. Let's get in this club. Let's walk right in this club, and let's see what they're gonna hit us off with first. What are they gonna? They're gonna walk on the stage, and they're not gonna ease us into anything. They're just gonna drop us right into a hideous replica situation.
They're gonna take us down to meet our friend Jay Temperance.
Yep. Let's get an impression of this, Jay.
Good evening, we are the Fall.
Yeah, and so I think this was like 400 people in a 600 spot.
400 people in a 600 spot place?
I think so, 300 or 400, yeah, in a 600 capacity.
And you said this was on Friday? Friday night?
I believe this is Saturday's show. This is the second show.
Oh yeah, this is, you're right. They played on Friday too. Okay. I wonder if they recorded the Friday show too. I wouldn't be surprised. It might be on the expanded edition. They hit you right over the head with that keyboard, dissonant keyboard sounds. It's a good way to start because you don't want to provide the guitar too soon. Do you remember what the other set, the Wellington set, starts with?
I believe it is Solicitor and Studio. Oh wait, the Wellington one?
Yeah, the Wellington one is the classical, which is just rocking right off the bat. It's much more palatable as far as a rock club, rock show, for the fans. But this is really a fun track to start with because for the band, because they're just gonna see people cheering at first, but once the song starts, the cheering is going to turn into wide eyes, staring them down, almost in disbelief. Okay, how do you feel about listening to a brand new song called "The Man Whose Head Expanded"?
Can't wait to hear it live.
All right, let's hear it. The Man Whose Head Expanded. Just road testing some new material. Now this crowd is getting to hear a song that they're not going to hear on vinyl wax for another year. It's kind of a, you know, a little inside tip. Get to go to see your favorite bands and see a brand new song that you're never going to be able to place for another year.
Yeah, and you maybe even cross your fingers at this point. Like if you really know the fall, you're
That's
like,
true.
this may never be played again.
That's true. Yep, that's so true. Yeah, back then, how obviously this is not bootlegged. This is a recording. There's bootleggers, but this is a recording off the board. But if you hear a song, you're like, "What was that?" Like that totally, you know, rocked my eardrums in the best possible way. The vibrations in my eardrums were definitely feeling that. I can't wait to hear that again. And you have to wait so long, and you're like, I definitely remember kind of how it goes. And if I heard it again, I'd definitely be able to pick it out. But you don't know if you're going to hear it. That's got to be. I mean, I do remember that in the radio days and when we were growing up. You know, you hear something on the radio, you're like, okay, I'm going to tune in at about the same time and see if they play it again. And hopefully I can get that little nugget in my ear again and then maybe get the name of it.
Yeah, or try to guess the name of it.
What the name of it based on the lyrics.
What would they name that song?
Yeah.
Did they say it before? Or they're going to say it after?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or did they already say it? Oh shit, they already said it. I tuned in right in the middle of the song. Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, and there's no other option, right? It's not like it popped up on your little car computer screen to tell you what was going on.
All I know is the name of the band, which is Smashing Pumpkins.
Of course, because you were listening to Q101.
Listening to Chicago alternative.
It was either
radio.
that or Nirvana. You couldn't.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew a Nirvana sound. I hear Craig going off on these keys. Much more experimental than the single version.
Yeah, I mean it is. They do get pretty like. It's obviously not jam band, but they do get way further
energy
out there. In any of their live recordings, like where you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, because there is so much space in these songs, and you can fill it a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It is. When they're in the studio, they never blast the volume. You know, they're always kind of in a range of tone. I think honestly, if they went to another volume level of extra soft or extra loud, they were never good at that. they were never good at the varying the volume levels in a subtle way to make these different sections go. They would take away an instrument, but no, like in the live setting, they went from quiet build up to extreme volume at the end of the song, but you never really had an up and down dynamic, right? Transitioning between different volume levels. Pretty much what you got at the beginning was going to be what you get at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was all more about speed than it was anything else.
Yeah,
to change the mood. Like, oh, this is a slow song. I mean, he says it multiple times in this recording where he's like, "We're gonna put a slow one on." So,
yeah. And slow to them is all relative too.
Yeah, I was gonna say. You're like, oh, that's your version of slow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Moving into Room to Live.
Yeah, Room to Live. See, I wouldn't have been mad if this is a good spot because you just challenged the audience with the lead-off track impression of Jay Temperance, and then you go into a brand new song no one in the crowd knows, The Man Whose Head Expanded, and then you might as well just give them basically the single from the album, Get Room to Live, which is a rockin', rollicking.
Yeah, I like
Angly.
the guitar. I like the guitar shredding on this one for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, then they just hit him with classics after that, right?
Yeah, they really do. See, this is what I'm saying. The start of this set leaves room for improvement, or actually just a different desire from my personal listening preference. But once you get into the middle of the set to the end of the set, this is where it's like, okay, I'm glad that this is a document of the band. Even, after Wellington, this is up there for me as some of the best live recordings of the fall.
If I came across the fall live expanded edition on LP, I mean, it's freaking 2 hours and 52 minutes. Like, if you want to have something where you got the complete fall experience, this is your opportunity to.
Yeah, that's why when I picked up the other day, I picked up like these 2 bootleg live albums, and I listened to the hell out of both of them, and then I just like, wow, this is great because you can really just close your eyes and pick out whatever record you want out of those and just put on a random side and just surprise yourself. And it's like being at a show. You're just like, what's going to be next? I have no idea. There's a little bit of silence and then this next song kicks in. Surprise yourself. He's like growling. He's like at like 2:30. He's like growling. I like him. All right, should we get into the Hip Priest? Let's see. This crowd needs to chill the fuck out. So let's let Mark start his sermon. It's a little bit early. It's Saturday night, but I don't know how religious the New Zealand population is. Of course, you got... I don't know. But they're going to get their sermon tonight. See, I'd like to say that that's kind of where you tell the band to chill. Like the band gets to get a little breather, but they're doing so much in that song. Even though it's slow, they're really doing a lot. Keys, backing vocals, the guitar's still going. It's 7 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, this is a long song, right? Like,
yeah. At the end of the Hip Priest, he's like improvising and like kind of whispering. It's good. He's a Hip Priest. He's a chocolate treat. And then we get Hard Life in the Country. one of my all-time favorites. And this version is really beautiful in its dark way. I feel like Mark was good at spacing out the songs where you're not gonna get, a 7 minute and a 7 minute song together. You're gonna get some spacers, but
Yeah,
not
and
too much.
no, and that's just kind of like we were talking about the volume, and it's just like the speed, right? Like, where are you at? Are you? I
Right.
don't want you to. We're not gonna lull you anywhere. We're gonna keep you on edge a little bit, not knowing what's next.
Yeah. And to follow up a song like Pearl Art Threat, which is some of the most experimental and abrasive experimental way. I know people love it. I know a lot of people that like that song, but for me, that's just like the drums are just so monotone and in your face. There's no subtlety, but then you get the Hard Life in the Country and this all subtlety. Slow introduction of a kick drum. It's like the complete opposite of a song that's completely like sandpaper, and then a song that's completely like a river flowing creek side. Dip your fishing pole in.
Got to sand it down first, then you get it. Then you can enjoy the smooth.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You got to sand it down, get that nice cast, get that line just thrown. But this second half of the set is really where it kicks in for me. Actually, starting right here with Hard Life in the Country, and then we go into the classical. Obviously, classic. And Mir Seed Magad is good. And then we get Marquis Cha Cha, which is, I feel like a crowd. I think that's just catering. Yeah, catering to the crowd. Right.
Get them on their feet. He's as much of an strict artist as Mark can be. He does let them enjoy themselves, right? He gives them what they want most of the time.
Yes.
And especially when you're off site like this, you're all the way in New Zealand, like
sure.
you're not gonna play a couple of the popular ones. Like, come on.
Yeah, you gotta give them. It's a new audience for you. You can't just be totally contrarian to
what you're feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what's actually good. You're like,
you're still an entertainer, right? You're still you're an artist, but you're also performing. So you have to, people paid money. You have to give them some sort of entertainment value for those people, especially let's just assume half the audience has brought a friend, a potential lover, a potential partner to the show, and they said, hey, come on, will you go to the show with me? I got tickets. I got a couple tickets. Will you go to the show with me? Who is it? Oh, it's this band from England. And
I imagine the crowd is just basically all players from the All Blacks rugby team, just ready to just smash you through the wall. So
they're just stomping in place to all the songs.
Yeah, exactly.
They're stomping in place.
They're doing the haka to the
kind of beating the chest.
Yeah, you don't want them throwing a bottle in your direction.
You know what? That would be a great music video for the fall. If they had like the All Blacks team you know, kind of stomping in time with like one of their songs. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
That would be real intense.
it's not a limp-wristed 16-year-old English boy that's chucking a beer at you, you know?
No, it's not. But Mark was always about for a majority of the time, he was all about the crossover between art and sport.
Art and truck drivers.
Yeah, that's sport. That's a sport.
It's a sport.
That's a sport. How fast can you get from one place to the to the next? It's a time trial.
How fast can you deliver that Stone's Best Bitter beer truck to the pub? Mark's in town. We got to fill up the bar.
How fast can you get that Amazon truck from one side of the London to the other? Yeah. Okay, let's see what the classical sounding like on this set, because the way it starts out on Wellington, the Wellington set 2 days earlier, is just pure. It's almost like they were playing that song before they even walked on stage. It's almost like it cuts right into that.
Yeah, this seems definitely more subdued, I guess.
Yeah, there's something missing. I agree. There's something missing with the energy of this one, and maybe it's because it's at basically the halfway point in the set.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they take a
reorder,
an intermission or not.
No, but this is a good intermission for us while we're listening to the classical, to look at the cover. So let's look at this cover of In a Hole by The Fall on Flying Nun Records in 1983. And like we said at the intro, the magazine cutout of the Happy Fall guitarist Mark Riley walking with his carrier bag filled with his
it's duty
it just
free.
looks like
I'm sure he's got duty-free items in there.
Yeah, definitely has duty-free items. He looks like a pure tourist. He looks like a cool tourist, but it's swinging.
Cool. He looks like a doofus.
I mean, he's swinging that bag. If he wasn't swinging that bag like that, he would look cool. He would look cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would wear that outfit. I don't have a leather jacket, but I would wear
leather
one.
jacket. He's got the tight acid wash jeans.
Those boots are cool.
Boots are cool. Belt. He's got a leather suitcase, but he's just got that duty-free bag swinging.
Yeah, and that cheese-eating grin on his face. Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's excited, right? That's good.
He's excited to be in a new country, and they were just in Australia, and he's now on a smaller island, that's gonna be a fun excursion for him. And I like that this pissed off Mark, because this is just pure. That's just perfect. That personifies Mark as the man of.
He wants that spotlight, right?
Yeah, just
because
totally aware of image, totally aware.
And you flip over the back, and he's nowhere to be found on the back either. So you know that has a fucking sting.
Yeah. Well, before we flip it over to the back, let's just talk about the font, because this is cool. And this is also 1983. Out of all of the Fall albums for me, and singles out of everything we've assessed up until this point in the fall. This is the best for me, album wise.
Album art wise.
Yeah, album art wise, exactly. You have fall written out in arms, in hand drawn arms.
And that's Hex Induction Hour stuff, I think.
Yeah, but it kind of looks like to me also the grotesque characters' arms. Either way, I like that.
No, it's not really Hex Induction Hour.
But like the grotesque characters, it's like arms of them. They would
I mean, there's a ton of posters from their tour and in it.
Yeah, and those are really good.
Really good to look at. Yeah,
those are really fun.
Fully incorporated with all the arms.
Yeah, and then also on the front you get in a hole pointing into a drain, like a drain stopper, and then the hole right there, and that's really fun too. And I'm giving it extra points artistic wise just for the title. Just for the title of Fall in a Hole. I mean, I'm just giving that a little. That's a nice little pun.
Yeah, and then around the perimeter it says 10 inches of 90 minutes. 10 inches of 90 minutes of a Manchester band playing 16 of their numbers to about 600 New Zealanders in a half. Oh, so 600 people, 600 New Zealanders in a half empty Auckland Music and Booze Barn. Half empty Auckland Music and Booze Barn on the 21st of August. Yeah. Sorry, it's upside down.
Yeah.
In the 1982, recorded mostly on open reel, 4-track players, little bit of stereo cassette deck, leaving next to nothing to the noise the band made, which was loud. So play loud and often.
Yeah, I love that. That's really good. I like that. That's a little bit more straightforward than Mark's, which I also love. His little statements of, whatever you want to call them, his little sermons he adds on the fall albums. But it's also, so they recorded the last part, I guess, on a backup cassette because they were going, they ran out of the 4-track open reel tape. So the sound quality does change slightly, or in a different way. And then let's flip it over. And on the back, we get how do you feel about the back artwork?
I mean, it feels like just a random collage that collage your girlfriend would make you or something like that. Like,
it's a fan collage. Though it's cool. I think you see Craig, you see Steve, you see them all just rocking.
Yeah, are they like Polaroids or almost like some photo booth shots in there?
Yeah, the photo booth shot though, does it have Mark in there? Because they're having fun. I don't see Mark. I don't see Mark in there.
No, there's one little photo of depressed Mark holding his microphone.
I know. It does look like, depressed Mark. Yeah, he's in the back too. I think I understand why Mark did not really particularly enjoy this.
Oh yeah, I could imagine how mad this would have made him when he pulled it out of the bin.
But you can really see how Flying Nun as a record label was a perfect fit for the fall. Even if he didn't like it, it looks so good. It looks just like the fall should look on an album sleeve.
Which is exactly
it shows the band.
I was gonna say, which is exactly what Mark hated. He wanted full artistic expression and direction, and
Yeah,
you could
that's
make
true.
sense. You could make sense why every other record label was fed up with him towards the end.
Yeah. Well, when you're sending in just like hand drawings, you drew this little gremlin, and then you said throw a photo of the band in the corner. No, throw a photo of a guy passed out in the corner, and then throw a picture of downtown Manchester over here, and then that's good. And then you get this, and then you're like, looks like a art student. And not a high school art student. This looks like something it's all written out. I mean, Mark would write out everything too, right on the album cover. But this is all written out where it's giving you the credits. And Mark's not gonna write out the credit. He's not gonna write out the track credits. He barely wrote out the track credits on the paperwork for the royalties. He's not gonna write that out. So whoever did this at Flying Nun, nice job.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that fan collage, like you could tell whoever did it had some passion around the band.
Yeah. And you got to assume these are all photos from when they were in New Zealand and not just some random ass photo that they found or some promo photo they had to use. It looks like it's just all taken there. And isn't this cool too that the Fall and the whole album is one 12-inch, well, 133 and a third LP, and then one additional 45 RPM EP, and that's
12-inch.
And that's the encores. That I love that. That's a nice collection, because then you can put, when the encores come on, it's 45 RPM, so you can jack up that volume a little bit more. It's spinning quicker. You jack up that volume and get that encore in the way it deserves to be listened to.
Yeah, you got to find about 200 pounds if you want to buy one of them off Discogs.
Is it 200 pounds for original?
The cheapest one I could find was 145.
145
pounds.
So they're still on the black market for exorbitant prices.
Yeah. Free shipping though. Don't worry, free shipping worldwide.
Free shipping. That's probably what Mark was pissed about originally. It was being exported. Yeah, the price was getting tacked on to the working class. He doesn't like that, Well, it's a great collaboration. Flying Nun in the Fall. Also, one of our favorite lineups of the fall is captured again on record. What's to be upset about?
Come on, they're in the height of they're getting it going here.
Yeah.
Just let them have it.
Yeah, they're a worldly band. Yeah, come on. They traveled all the way over there, so
take your cut if you need to.
Shake hands. So
I honestly think it was the album art that probably just was like,
it probably was.
Get this out of my country. You're not going to embarrass me this way.
Yeah. Well, also Mark Riley was out of the band by that time, so it was extra. It was extra not great.
Extra slap in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like people. I could also imagine he was probably getting a lot from people being like, "Oh yeah, I got your new album. Who's that on the cover? Was that your who's I haven't seen that. Oh yeah, he's not in the band anymore. Kicked him out for eating a banana or some bullshit."
Yeah, he forgot to shave one day, so I sent him home.
Yeah, his hair got below his chin. Yeah. Oh man. But to finish off the set proper, I think we should listen to Backdrop.
The last song, YOP,
This song Backdrop is very rarely heard by the band. And I don't know if it was ever properly recorded. Someone is going to correct us, so which I approve. I mean, I hope so. But this is a cool song, and I like this song a lot. And this is where we kind of get initiated to it as far as a recorded track.
It does appear it was released on a 2001 album named Backdrop.
Yeah, and that's a compilation of rarities, I believe.
Is that what it is? Okay.
And I don't know if it's this take, but it is a live version of it. But I like this song a lot.
Yeah, the timeline's up. I mean, they're both 10 minutes, so.
Yeah. And how fall is it to play a song as your closer before the encore, or around where they go off stage and come back on, I think. Yeah, it is. It's the last song, I think, before they go off stage or they just start the encore. And play a 10-minute song that no one also has ever heard before. This is such a fall move. It's spot on. Subsidized cannabis haze.
So I mean, do you know, are all the expanded, for the disbanded, are they all from that show as well, or?
Oh no, they're from other shows on the 1982 New Zealand tour. Some of them I think are actually from the Wellington show that we
that makes
discussed
sense
too. And then they're from other shows on the Wellington tour. Well, I think as we hear that song and as the encore kicks in, I think we should discuss, since we're talking about this live artifact, but also maybe the expanded edition, how many pints, or what are you feeling for this one?
I mean, you know, going off of
for the set alone, you got 16 tracks, and I know you like pure quantity.
I like live, I like quantity, you know, and for this one, I've never tasted one. I've had some bitter English beers, but based off of the Kick Conspiracy music video, I did see an advertisement for Stone's Best Bitter, so that is the beer of choice for my ranking. And
of the era,
you know, I'm not sure if I could buy one today.
You can buy a vintaged. It's going to cost the same amount as this album. 200 pounds of vintage bottle.
Oh boy. I'm going to have to go pretty high, because apparently Google tells me that Stone's Best Bitter is only 3.7% alcohol by volume. So I'm going to need a couple, 2 or 3.
Oh, that's you just have a Miller Lite, a High Life.
I think they're stronger than that. High Life is 5.
Okay. So you might have to get a case. Okay.
Yeah,
a case.
yeah.
Well, it depends. This is a good album. You know, this is a good live album for sure.
I agree. I like the other live recording.
The Wellington.
The Wellington show. I definitely appreciate the sound quality on this one.
Yes.
It is fantastic for a live recording, right?
Yep.
Especially in 1982.
Yeah. Great mix.
So we'll go We'll go with a solid 6-pack. 6-pack of Stones Bitter.
6-pack of Stones. This is a great recording. It's a great lineup of the fall. I wish the guitars were a little bit up in my face a little bit more. And I think that's why I like the Wellington show and the energy of it. And because I think they're kind of a little bit, I'm not going to say tired, because I don't think the fall ever sound tired, but maybe there's a hangover of playing such a fucking great show 2 days before. And maybe even
just a hangover of being with each other for so long. Like, obviously things were stressful.
Yeah,
Mark Hanley leaves pretty quickly after this. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You're just kind of like, maybe they're just tired of standing next to each other,
trying to keep the energy going. You can hear it on the set. At points, it comes out perfect. Hard Life in the Country. It's coming out. I think it's almost like every other song. It kind of really hits for you. And actually, this is kind of a set that I'll come back to, and I'll throw this on this album, because I think you might hear a different energy depending on whatever mood you're in too. So, recording quality, A+. Set list order, C+. I'm going for overall B. So I'm giving it 7 pints. And if I get the expanded edition, you can throw in at least another pint for expanded.
Obviously, if you're listening to us, you're beyond fall curious. But if you want to show someone the fall, like, put on this and you'll get it, right? Like,
put this on, play some of your favorite songs. Move that needle around. Don't take it off. Just jump it around. Blow on it. Let it skip across. You might surprise yourself. It's a great collection. Yeah.
Minimal on here that you're like, holy cow, I can't hear that anywhere else.
Like some of these, I'm like, oh man, there's a Peel Session, the version of this where I'm like, that is the one, actually. So get your pints and put yourself in the mind space of New Zealand local, going to the club.
I feel like Mark was probably taking his bottle of champagne back to his room after this show, not sharing it with the band.
Yeah,
he said, "No,
that might have been the
boys,
reason.
I thought you could have done more."
Also, when he found out that how much cash he was probably losing by not signing off on this and just being like, okay, let's just agree that we can split this 50-50. Thank you for joining us for falling into a hole with us. 1983 from deep down under New Zealand. That was fun. I like that. I wish we could come back to that. Maybe we will. Maybe the fall goes back. I'm not really clear on if they ever, go to this country again in the same way. Obviously not with the same band, but hopefully they do. Otherwise, we got some good episodes coming up, so we look forward to seeing you guys again and hearing you guys again. And as always, make sure you let us know if we're missing out on anything that we should be tapping into for the fall at this point in time, and we'll be sure to add that to the queue. So until next time, we are the fall.
We are the best.
And later, mates.
I'll see you later, mates.
Later, mates, from down